Summary of Till We Have Faces by C.S. Lewis. The story takes place in the fictitious kingdom of Glome, which is in a world with another country called the Greek lands that is based on ancient Greece. Princess Orel tells the story. When her father, the king, dies, she becomes queen of Glome. Orel writes part 1 in her old age to list all the bad things the gods have done to her. She hopes that a visitor will bring the book to the Greek lands so that the wise people there can help her find answers about the gods. Ungit is a goddess in Glome who is similar to Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of love, but is shown as a rough black stone and is generally mean. Her son, the god of the Grey Mountain, lives on a mountain close to Glome and is the main character of the story. When Orel and her sister Redival are young, their mother dies. Their father, the king, gets a Greek slave and calls him the fox. He then gives Orel and Redival to teach. Orel loves the fox more than anyone else. He teaches her Greek tales and philosophy, and he insists on being logical. He even questions whether the gods exist. Soon, the king tells everyone that he is going to marry the princess of a nearby kingdom. Orel knows she is ugly when he makes the girls wear veils to the wedding. The new queen dies soon after giving birth. The baby is a girl, and the king needs a boy to be his child. This makes him very angry on the night of the birth. He tells the fox to work in the mines, but he quickly learns that what he really needs is the fox's help with important matters of state. Istra is the baby's name, which comes from the Greek word for Psyche. She is stunningly beautiful. Both Orel and the fox love her very much, and Orel plans to raise her. The fox, Orel, and Psyche all become close and spend a lot of time together. It's the best time of Orel's life right now. But when Redival is seen kissing a guard, the king makes Orel and the fox watch over her all the time, which makes Orel unhappy. One day, Redival sees a woman ask Psyche to kiss her baby to make it look better. She says she will tell the priest of Ungit about it because people treat Psyche like a goddess. Glome starts to have trouble. The crops don't grow well, there's a rebellion that the king has to put down, and the city gets a fever. The fox gets sick, but Psyche takes care of him and makes him better. When the people hear this, they rush to the castle and demand that she fix them. As she moves through the crowd, she touches each person and kisses the ground she walks on. The next day, she gets sick herself but gets better. People leave gifts for her, and Orel is afraid of Ungit's anger. One day, Redival tells Orel that she saw Psyche by herself in the city, and that people now say she made the fever happen instead of treating it. She tells Psyche that people called her the cursed and threw stones at her when she comes back. Things are getting worse in the country, and the king is worried. The priest of Ungit goes to the king's palace to talk. People fear him. It seems like Ungit only gets mad when people do bad things. Once those people are punished, everything will be fine. To fix the problems in the country, they need to figure out what makes Ungit mad and kill that person. A fight breaks out between the king and the fox. The priest says that a holy trick has shown him that the cursed is not among the common people, the elders, or the nobles. Because the king thinks the priest will say that he is the cursed, he tells the priest and his guards that he will kill them. The priest finally tells them that Psyche has to be killed. The king won't listen to Orel and the fox when they beg him not to let it happen. Orel goes to see Psyche, who is locked up, to see how she is doing. In a strange way, she finds Psyche to be calm and content with her fate. She has always dreamed of a house on the Grey Mountain, and she thinks that she has been getting ready to be given to the gods there without realizing it. Orel is mad that Psyche doesn't seem to mind as much as he does that they are going their separate ways. They fight because she doesn't believe Psyche loves her. Orel plans to go to Psyche's offering, but she gets dizzy and can't wake up for days. Glome wakes up to find that all of her worries are over. The Orel and the fox think it's just a chance. Orel makes up her mind to bury whatever is left of Psyche at the mountain. While she is sad and walking around the castle, Bardia, the captain of the guard, talks her into letting him teach her how to use a sword as a distraction. Bardia finally agrees to go to the mountain with Orel. She is still alive when they find her in a beautiful valley. When the sisters finally meet, they are both very happy. Psyche tells Orel what happened to her. She was given a drug to calm her down, so she didn't start to feel hopeless until she was left alone and tied to the holy tree. The god of the wind then showed up, freed her, and took her to a beautiful house in the valley, Source. She says that the god of the mountain comes to sleep with her every night, but she can't see his face. It's clear that Orel can't see the house now. A fight breaks out between Orel and Psyche over whether the house is real or just in Psyche's mind. Orel gets angry at the god and Psyche's situation because he feels so far away from her. She wants Psyche to run away with her, but Psyche says she has to take care of her husband first. They go their separate ways. Orel walks to the edge of the river just before dawn and sees a short glimpse of the castle. She doesn't believe what she sees, though. Orel tells Bardia Psyche's story and asks for his help on the way home. He thinks it has to do with religion. Psyche's death saved Glome, and now she is married to the god. This is what Orel tells the fox when they get back to the house. He thinks that Psyche is being used by a fugitive criminal who lives on the mountain. There is no sign from the gods when Orel asks them to show her what is real. Orel is sure that something bad is in charge of Psyche no matter what. The next day, she goes back to Psyche's valley and forces her to light a lamp so she can see her husband's face when he comes to her at night. Orel stabs herself in the arm and threatens to kill both Psyche and herself if she doesn't give in. At first, Psyche doesn't want to betray her husband. Psyche starts to dislike Orel a lot, but she can't let her kill herself, so she goes along with the plan. In the late evening, Orel sees the light from Psyche's lamp coming across the river. Psyche is sent away by the god when all of a sudden a huge storm destroys the valley. For the rest of her life, Orel is going to hide how ugly she is by wearing a hat. The king hurts his leg and gets sick that winter. The priest is also going to die. Orel takes over as queen and forms a bond with Arnhem, who will take over as priest. She finds Trunea, Prince of Fars, hiding in the yard that night. During a fight with his brother over the throne, he was forced to leave Fars. Orel agrees to help him. Orel wants her and his brother Argan to fight to the death for Trunea's life. As the fight is getting ready, Orel frees the fox from slavery, but she doesn't know that he might leave her to go back to Greece, which is the last thing she wants. He chooses to stay in Glome in the end. Orel ends Argan's life. Trunea becomes king of Fars, and the two of them work together very well. At the same time, Orel is in love with Bardia, who is married. As queen, Orel does a great job and brings many good changes to Glome. She hides her old self deep inside and lets her queen character take over. She uses her work to take her mind off of her sadness. Still, she keeps thinking that she hears Psyche crying outside, even though she knows it's just the well's chains rattling. Bardia and the fox are great guides, but the fox dies in the end. The queen chooses to go to other countries because her life is getting boring. On one of her trips, Queen Orel finds a small temple in the woods. She is told by the priest that the temple is for the goddess Istra and that the holy story of the goddess is very similar to the story of Orel and Psyche. In the priest of Istra's story, however, both of Istra's sisters can see her house and, because they are jealous, work together to keep her away from the god. The queen is mad that the gods have changed her story to make her look guilty, so she chooses to write down the truth. It takes Orel some time to write part 2 after part 1 is done. When Redival's ex-lover comes to the palace, the queen finds out that Redival was lonely as a kid when Orel started spending all her time with Psyche. Bardia dies suddenly, and when the queen goes to see his wife Ansit, she says that she killed him by pushing him too hard. She says that the queen has taken over everyone's life. At the house of Ungit, the queen will soon have to do a duty. The raw stone is covered in blood, and she sees a clear face that she thinks is Ungit. After that, she dreams that her dad makes her look at herself in a mirror. She can see that her face is that of Ungit when she takes off her cover. She plans to drown herself that night in the river, but a voice from God tells her not to jump because she needs to die before she dies. Orel tries to heal her soul but can't. She sees in her dream that she needs to get wool from giant sheep, but they step on her. Then she has one where she's walking through the desert to find water in the land of the dead. Then, an eagle takes her to a huge courtroom full of ghosts, where she has to read her prayer against the gods. But the scroll she reads instead shows how jealous she is of the gods and how much she wants Psyche. The first time she really sees herself, she understands that the gods don't talk to people because people don't understand themselves. The fox meets Orel in his ghost form, and he takes her to a set of drawings that show the job Psyche had to do as Ungit's punishment. He says that Psyche did her punishment without any pain because Orel took it all on himself. Finally, he takes Orel to a lovely garden, where Psyche waits for her when she gets back from her last job. When Orel sees that Psyche has turned into a goddess, they make up. Then the god shows up to judge Orel, who is both scared and happy. What she hears is him telling her that she has turned into Psyche. But when she looks up, the vision is over. Not long after that, she died, fully aware that the god has an answer for every problem.
About the author. C.S. Lewis was born in Northern Ireland. Lewis, who was given the name Jack as a child, grew up in East Belfast in a house that his parents and brother Warren called Little Leah. Lewis loved spending time in his dad's huge library as a child. His mother died of cancer when he was about 10 years old. Lewis went to Oxford University in 1916, but he was sent to France right away to fight in the First World War. After getting hurt in 1918, he went back to Oxford to study English literature, philosophy, and the classics. His job was to teach English literature at Oxford's Magdalen College from 1925 to 1954. Lewis was a strong skeptic until he was in his teens. In 1931, he became a Christian and stayed a faithful member of the Church of England for the rest of his life. During World War II, he gave a series of radio talks that were the base for his famous book of defense of Christianity, Mere Christianity. In 1954, Lewis was named Chair of Literature in the Middle Ages and the Renaissance at Magdalen College, Cambridge University. Lewis died in 1963.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.